Okay, morning everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time that you're watching this video itself. My name is Chad Milam. I'm one of the directors of Disaster Relief CERT. CERT being the Community Emergency Response Teams of Volunteer Network. Following a meeting, just to give you some background, following a meeting I had yesterday with another non-government organization or non-profit company. I brought up an issue regarding the advanced chat privacy a result of the WhatsApp message that started circulating a couple of months ago, which says due to the and as you can see here, I've got it on screen. Which says due to ongoing AI security challenges. Sorry, as you can see, it says due to ongoing AI cybersecurity challenges, it is crucial that all WhatsApp group admins immediately enable advanced chat privacy settings. If this is not enabled, AI systems may legally access all group chat messages, members' phone numbers, and even personal data stored on the phones. This includes one-to-one chats as well, and then it proceeds to discuss how to turn on the chat settings. Okay, so that being said, the first thing that we do need to have a look at is what does WhatsApp say about this? So when we look at the advanced chat privacy page from WhatsApp itself, it says you can limit how other users can share your messages and media outside of WhatsApp. When advanced chat privacy is enabled for a chat, you can expect that if you turn this on, people in this chat, point one, can't save media to their device gallery automatically. They can't mention @Meta AI, summarize unread messages, or use the AI features, and they can't export the chat. So those are the three facilities that become available according to WhatsApp when the advanced chat privacy is turned on. I also want to point out that as per this WhatsApp message at the top here, if you read it carefully again, it says if this is not enabled, AI systems may legally access all group chat messages. Yet take particular note of what WhatsApp says. It says regardless of whether or not you enable advanced chat privacy, your personal messages are protected with end-to-end encryption, meaning that no one outside of the chat, not even WhatsApp or Meta, can read, listen to, or share them. And therefore, the factcheckedafrica.net also published a document debunking the truth behind the viral WhatsApp AI spying warning spreading in Nigeria. And this goes back to July of 2020-25. So whoever started spreading this in Nigeria picked up on it, and it's reached the South African shores and has, of course, gone through the entire WhatsApp social media grouping structure. And in my personal opinion, I personally think that group administrators have had a knee-jerk reaction as well as group members to this, and it's, oh dearie me, now they're going to read our messages, group admins must please turn this on, or I'm leaving the group, and there's a whole lot of aspects behind it. Now, one of the interesting points that was raised yesterday during the meeting, my apologies, I just had to pause to clear my throat there. One of the interesting factors that was raised during yesterday's meeting by one of the directors of the non-profit company I was having a meeting with, the statement was made in response, or the reply in response to, why have you turned it on and why can you not turn it back off? There is a reason. I'd like to cover the reasons why it should in actual fact be off. But the response was that I have got a responsibility to protect the messages that have been sent out and handled by our group members. Okay, valid argument. I'm not going to dispute that at the moment. It genuinely is a valid argument. However, without being negative towards the meeting or towards the director, there's a couple of things that I would like to debunk with regards to this particular setup of having the advanced chat privacy turned on. And of course, for those of you that don't know, either in an individual chat or in a group chat, by clicking on the actual group name or the person's name, by scrolling down, you can see the advanced chat privacy setting, and if you click on that, they categorically give us the reasons that you can't save media to their device gallery automatically. So let's just cover that point. What that means is that when somebody in actual fact posts a message on your particular group chat or individual chat, then what is going to happen is you will find that some users will in actual fact have provided the setting on WhatsApp itself within their phone settings to save all images which are received to their gallery or their photos or whatever it is that they are in actual fact using. And what that ultimately means is quite simply that as an incoming message is received, the WhatsApp application, and I'm just going to try and do a demo here without going to the gallery because I'm working on my PC. What it means is that as this message is in actual fact received in WhatsApp, it is automatically saved to the phone's gallery or photo app, so that the person can come back later and have a look at it, even if the image has been deleted, for example, from the WhatsApp chat. So I'd just like everybody to bear in mind that is the first capability, that when this advanced chat privacy is turned on, these images don't get automatically saved to their phone's photo gallery or whatever gallery they use, in image gallery, whatever it might be. I'm on iPhone, so Android has got a different name and capability. The second thing is it says you can't use the AI features like mentioning at Meta AI or summarizing of unread messages. And then the third option is that you can't export the chat. So what I would like to do is I'm actually going to turn on the advanced chat privacy setting here on my test group that I'm utilizing, and I just want to go back, and you'll see that the image is still there. It will still be there, and had I posted the message or had my other account posted the message to this chat, then of course it would only appear within WhatsApp, but it would not be saved to my particular photo gallery. The second thing that I would like to have a look at is the actual export function. Now, unfortunately, I think on this one I might have to do an insert from the phone itself, because now, of course, you can't export messages off of the web.whatsapp.com. But in essence, what it means is that when utilizing your phone, if you scroll down on the group description or the user's name, you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see that there is an option that says export chat. You click on that, and when you click on that, that will in actual fact provide the capability of exporting the chat either into another WhatsApp account, to your Dropbox, Google, Gmail account, whatever the case might be, or you can send it via email, at which point I'm going to pause this video and I'm going to do the export chat on my cell phone, but unfortunately not capture the images for this particular video. But I'll show you the result of it, that when that email does come in, where in actual fact it is stored, etc., etc. Let me just pause here for a minute. Okay, so for the purposes of this exercise of exporting the chat, I'm about to include the actual images from my phone. I did some screenshots on the phone, so I'm just waiting to pick them up, and I will post them through to the group. on this test account so that everybody can actually see what does happen when you click on each and every single one of the options with regards to the exporting of the chat. So to start off with, remember that I turned the advanced chat on, at which point I tried to do an export from my phone. The net result was as follows. That should be popping up on the screen shortly. There we go. When you click on the group description at the top, or the person's name at the top, then what in actual fact transpires is you get the option, you scroll down to the bottom and you can say export chat. Once you click on the word export chat and the privacy setting is in actual fact turned on, the result of that is you will be given the option, or the message, the warning, that stipulates that you can't export that particular chat, which is what we are about to see in a minute as it comes through. Okay, so there we go. That has just arrived, and it says you can't export the chat. Advanced chat privacy has been turned on, and this prevents exporting this chat. Now, it must be noted that while this does prevent the messages within the group from being exported out into a zip file, for example, or into your message box itself, it does provide an added benefit that the stuff cannot in actual fact be sent out. But what I wanted to show you was the difference as to when your advanced chat is actually turned off. I need to demonstrate this particular side for a reason. And if you turn off the advanced chat privacy, and then you go through the same process and you have a look at exporting to an email, the next screen that comes up, it gives you the option to actually include the images or include the media, or exclude the media. So you can attach media, or you can send out the text file purely with just the media file, without the media, that is no videos, no pictures, etc., etc. Again, that there could be, and I say could be, an added option, because at this particular point, once you say attach media, then the next screen that comes up will in actual fact provide you with the option to select the various areas that you could export your message to, or in my case, as an NGO, I would specifically be looking at things on mail, for example, so that I've got a record of it, and I'll explain the record keeping aspect in a few minutes. That being said, as soon as you've selected the attach media, for example, it will then give you the option to put in an email address and give the actual message a subject line, and then post it off into your email account. And the point that I want to raise at this point is take particular note of what occurs when this message in actual fact is about to be sent. If you take a look, yes, it's going to go to an email address, and it's going to have a test name, but take note specifically of this zip file that is sitting here. Now, that zip file is vitally important, and there's a couple of reasons why that particular zip file will become important in terms of the argument I wish to present in a minute or two. Okay, now, that being said, if we take a look at alright, now I need to try and clear that annotation, so please bear with me for a second. Okay, there we go. Again, my apologies. Now that the annotation drawings have been cleared, I would in actual fact will move on, and I want to show you what happens when you in actual fact send that email from your WhatsApp export facility. As soon as you've done that and your mail server has picked up the message, what will in actual fact happen is you will get the email, and if you double click it and open it, then in that particular document or in that particular message itself, you will find that you've got a zip file as an attachment. Now, the thing that I want to point out is there's a couple of very important aspects of this message that become crucial to the retention of document handling and the proof of when and how messages are sent and received. So firstly, you can see that like any other standard email, the to and the from address is there, the subject is there, but on the right hand side, depending on whatever mail client you're utilizing, there is in actual fact a date and a time that is also attached to this particular email, and also the zip file. And the zip file becomes an important thing to have a look at, because one would in actual fact have to save this file, and which I will bring up shortly on another screen. Once you save that file, that also becomes a data record, and I think this is the time whereby I need to just cover the aspect of what I mean by a data record and the implications of data records, etc., etc. Ultimately, one needs to be sure that we clearly understand that those of us that are in business, in other words, companies registered in terms of the Companies Act, sole proprietors, trusts, non-profit organizations, it all depends on how you are registered. There are various acts and various legal requirements that need to be met with regards to the handling of messages, and it must also be noted that in terms of the Electronic Communications and Transaction Act, emails do become legal documents, and all of this correspondence is to be retained and required to be retained for X amount of years, depending on what exactly it is that one is doing. Sorry, I'm just busy looking. I thought I had another message posted here. I will post that message in a second. Let's just go and grab it so that I've got a record of it. It is here. There we go. And we'll just pop it in here so that I can bring it up on screen and show you that there are various financial, or there are various acts and legislative documents that require us as companies and businesses to retain certain documentation, etc., etc. And this actually becomes very crucial and critical to the prevention of sharing or exporting these messages out into our own personal email accounts, etc., etc. I'm not going to go through the full list. People can always just pause this video and have a look at it. And there are various aspects throughout. So the sharing of WhatsApp messages, for example, might not apply to the financial sector regulation. However, it could apply to the Companies Act. It could apply depending on the context within which the communication that I as an NGO post on a particular WhatsApp group that might apply to the Electronic Communication and Transaction Act, or it might have something to do with VAT or tax administration or income tax act. So anything that I put out there, one needs to consider that these acts might in actual fact apply. So in essence, that's the first aspect of the concern that I have. The second aspect of the concern that I've got is that in the event, especially when it comes to emergency groups in particular, as a non-government organization, when I participate in an emergency group, very much along the lines of any other key role player, regardless of who or what they are, they have an obligation as well to retain their records of the communication they are involved with in terms of the groups or even the individual chats that they may be holding. If it is an individual chat between a company and a client, or company and a potential client, or a company representative, staff member, and an individual or potential client, then of course the POPI Act will apply. But if it is in a public-facing WhatsApp group, then of course then everybody is in a public domain. Information that is shared there, companies such as NGOs, private security, etc., might be posting things in the group which could, in actual fact, be utilized either for or against any legal action that might be brought against the NGO, or whatever the case might be. So to give you an example, working within even a general community group as a non-government organization, if I were to put out inappropriate comments or inappropriate content that could be misleading, or in actual fact bring harm to a person or their family could in actual fact hold me legally liable. Or if I say something that is negative towards anybody as an NGO, then of course I could in actual fact be looking at a civil case of libel, slander, or even defamation. And this is now where it becomes problematic in the second phase, whereby there is no way of having a legitimate record of the conversation that has taken place on that group, regardless of whether it is a personal conversation one-on-one, or if it is on a public-facing WhatsApp group, Facebook, whatever the case might be. But we are specifically dealing with WhatsApp and the advanced chat privacy. Then that person could in actual fact make a claim against the NGO, and the NGO needs to be able to be able to provide proof or evidence that that is not what was said, or it was misconstrued, or it was taken out of context, or whatever the case might be. And this is where it becomes critical, whereby the NGOs in particular should be allowed the opportunity to export their chats into the email account and keep it on record. Now, of course, the company, the NGO itself would have to manage this internally of their own accord, because some chat groups retain messages for 24 hours, other 7 days, other 90 days, and therefore that NGO will in actual fact have to ensure that maybe at 1700 a staff member who is responsible for working within that particular WhatsApp group exports it to their email account, so that there's a record of what transpired of their communications during the day. Now, yesterday it was mentioned that by preventing this from happening is in actual fact protecting the communication of the other group members. Well, yes, that may very well be, but the communication of the other group members might not apply to myself as an NGO, which is a valid argument. However, it is comments and information they will now already put out into the public domain through their participation in that public-facing WhatsApp group. If they don't want that information to be made public knowledge, they should not post that message. Nobody on the group can be held responsible for the information. It's like walking into Spa or into a shopping center, and you're busy talking to somebody as you're walking down the aisle, and you reveal personal information about yourself, and then you turn around and you blame the guy behind you because of the fact he's not protecting your information. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. The person that is responsible for protecting your personal information is you, the individual, and nobody else. But when you are engaging directly and providing personal information directly to a company or other organization in terms of the POPI Act, then that business, that entity, the public body or the private body, is responsible for protecting the information that you have given them, except where you provide permission that they can share it. At which point then it can be put out in the public domain and nobody needs to protect it, because the POPI Act does say except where it is made available to the public or in the public domain itself. But that's a different session altogether. So when we're having a look at this, if, for example, every day the company, the NGO, or the business entity exports their chats, exports the media, all their voice notes, as well as everybody else's, which is all public knowledge, all gets saved into a particular folder at the end of the day. And I wanted to try and show you that. I seem to have lost my folder, but if we have a look here, I've now got my zip file, and if we go into our zip file, we can see that we in actual fact have a text file, again dated 21 September 9:37. So again, here we've got proof of when the chat was actually exported. And when we take a look at the content of the text file, yes, we will in actual fact get everybody's telephone numbers and whatever name or description that they've in actual fact put up there. So all the information is made available. But please remember, that information is in the public domain. And administrators have got no obligation to protect that information. If a group member doesn't want to share public information, then they don't share it, or they can leave the group. But the businesses, the NGOs, the PDY limiters need to be able to extract this information and have a record. Like here at 846, there is a particular JPEG image with a number of sequential number of 11, and you can see in the background there we have the actual image itself, and this all serves of proof for the NGO of the correspondence which they engaged in and entered into with other members of the public, and therefore this information may very well be required in terms of the various acts which require the retention of records, or just to purely protect the NGO or government from NGO or non-government the non-government organization, non-profit organization, or other businesses from in actual fact being sued, and they've got something with which they can fall back on. So the thing that I want to close off on, you can see now, by preventing the exporting of chats, it is assumed, and I'm using that word deliberately, and this I think is crucial, it is assumed that this information is now private and that people on the group can't do anything with it. Not true. Because if we go back and have a look at the purpose of the advanced chat privacy, it says you can't save media to the device gallery. We've already explained that one. By turning it on, you can't export the chat, therefore you can't get the images. But what happens if I were to, in actual fact, do a screenshot, a simple screenshot? If you take a look at these messages, that is a simple screenshot from my cell phone. Yes, I can keep a record of my conversation, but come on, administrators, let's be reasonable and considerate to our non-government organizations, our businesses, our key role players, and let's not make life hard and difficult for them, that they now have to go through page by page and do screenshot, and it all gets saved as a JPEG image, and there's no text document, there's no context available. So there is one way that where you as an administrator think you in actual fact are protecting the data and the images from being exported, a simple screenshot is in actual fact going to allow it to happen. But in addition to that, a simple right-click, save image as, go and stick it into the drive, and if we go down to the drive, on our PC, guess what? We've got that image. So what are you actually protecting by turning on this advanced chat privacy? Let's be serious and let's be honest here. Absolutely nothing is being protected. Sure, your text messages itself. Well, I see I have a save as. Let's have a look. Save as sets up an HTML file. We can put it in there. We can go and have a look. And hopefully at some stage I will get an HTML file, yeah? Unless it's gone somewhere else. Let me just check and see where that was. But I think the point that I'm showing you here is that I'm going to try and save as a PDF and see what we do. We send it there to the PDF. What I'm hoping that I'm accomplishing here is I'm showing you that in essence you are in actual fact not protecting the data which you think you are protecting because of that email that was, or that WhatsApp message that was placed in circulation. Because just take a look at this. What has happened here now is, for some reason I can't get, there we go. Right. Now I killed the document off. Okay, well, we'll just open it up again. Bear with me a second. And we'll open up that PDF. And voila. I've still got a record of everything. So what actually is being accomplished by turning on this advanced chat privacy, except to frustrate the key role players and to administrators on business groups and administrators on emergency groups? Ladies and gentlemen, show some respect to your key role players that are operating. Give them the opportunity and the flexibility to quickly, safely and easily export their chats by turning this function off. You don't need to seek counsel on this. It is quite clear that that message above that says due to ongoing AI cybersecurity is a total fake message, because there is 2 or 3 other ways. I've just shown you, even exporting the entire screen off a web.whatsapp. One can retain all of the information, but unfortunately, again, it makes it very difficult. I mean, if you take a look at what the process I've had to go through between that HTML file, the WhatsApp app, as opposed to how simple it is to actually utilize the zip file and work through the zip file process, I'm sure you can understand. But there again, I mean, unless you are making your own staff members administrators on a WhatsApp account, then you're going to be wasting your own company's time by expecting your own staff to protect, not protect, but to get a copy of the communications and to retain it in order to protect yourself from, malicious civil claims of libel, defamation or otherwise, or in order to comply with the Companies Act. So I think administrators, it's time to really sit back and consider this. And the last thing that I would like to turn to cover is that if we take a look at the advanced chat privacy being turned on, it says can't use AI features like mentioning at Meta AI. Now, WhatsApp has already covered this and said, look, AI coming from the outside in does not work because of the fact that those privacy and end-to-end encryption is already in place. Now, all that this is doing by turning it on, and if you do the example at Meta, it says Meta AI is not available in this chat. So we can't, from inside of our WhatsApp chat, utilize Meta AI in order to do whatever it is that we would in actual fact like to ask. And even here, I've never tried this. I want to turn this off. I've not been one to actually utilize AI, but I would think that some people, there we go, you see now Meta AI is available, and of course if you select that, then we can ask the question, I'm just being silly. I could in actual fact ask the question if one of the images is legit or valid, or does it need to be debunked. And of course here now something went wrong. Okay, not a problem, but I think you get the gist of the AI aspect. Some people like to play with AI. The only advantage of turning it off for them is that they can go and play with it. Maybe they'll be able to help us, and we could in actual fact ask questions like, okay, in terms of this message, Meta AI, please debunk this message. Is this message legit? Whatever the case might be, and maybe we can start preventing some of the fake news that is in circulation. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you have found this video informative. I will in actual fact be posting this up onto YouTube, and I'll make it available for the general public. And of course this can go out, and it's entirely up to everybody else to decide. But my personal appeal as Disaster Relief CERT, the groups that I operate in, yes, I would like to keep a record of my messages, and I'm almost certain that when more businesses and more NGOs and more legal entities realize that they could very well be short-circuiting some of the requirements of complying with legislation, or being forced into a position of not being able to easily comply with the legislation, which might in actual fact prevent a lot of legal headaches moving forward, especially when it comes to libel, slander, defamation. I'm almost certain more and more businesses will actually realize this and start turning this function off. Because, as I said in the beginning, I firmly believe that this has been turned on due to a knee-jerk reaction by not only group administrators, but also by group members who have got no understanding of what the actual message does or the purpose of these particular functions are. So on that basis, I want to say thank you very much, and cheers, goodbye, all the rest of it. Be safe, and of course be happy. This is Chad Marlem, as I would normally say, Echo 1 out. Cheers all.